going on and offer you some ideas of how to solve the problem. So go to the website, link in the description, and check it out. Hi, you guys. Good morning. It's Yaz. Today I'm going to talk about vulnerability. Is it good to show vulnerability to somebody that you're dating or in a relationship with? Okay, this one can be a controversial issue. Okay, a lot of experts will say that you really can't get close to somebody or feel love for somebody until you show your vulnerability. Now, the problem with vulnerability is a lot of people show vulnerability too soon, okay? They may be dating somebody for a short time, and right away, they're letting that person know everything about them. They're showing what makes them tick, what doesn't make them tick. And I don't recommend showing vulnerability right away because you don't know that person, you don't know what that person's about, and you don't want to show somebody your weaknesses right away. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, for instance, if you're dating somebody or even if you're in a relationship with somebody, and let's say you're the type of person that is vulnerable when somebody gives you the silent treatment, for instance, and you always get upset or you let them know, I don't like that, or they know that that is your vulnerable part, okay? That's your spot. You can't handle when they do the silent treatment. A lot of times you'll have partners that will continue to do it because they know that's what makes you tick. So the only time you really show vulnerability is when you've really gotten to that close point with somebody and they've earned your trust. Okay? But you have to understand something. In a relationship, it has to do a lot of times with power and the balance of power. A lot of times, one partner has more power than the other person in the relationship. And the person that has the more power has the control. Okay? And the person who has the less power, for instance, the person who cares more about the relationship is the one that usually gets hurt, is the one that can't usually walk away. So I don't believe that, you go out there in the world and you just become this vulnerable person to everybody. Because there's people in this world that will use it against you and try to hurt you. So I don't look at it as showing your vulnerability to somebody. I look at it as being your authentic self. You want to be yourself. You want to have an attitude like, this is who I am. And if you want to get to know me, you will make the effort to do that and not, overstep my boundaries. Or if you're in a relationship with somebody, they should not overstep your boundaries, and you have to check these people, okay? But if you go into a relationship and right away you're letting them know all the different vulnerabilities that you have and everything like that, you're pretty much letting that person know how to, in a sense, be able to manipulate you, okay? I talk about certain things about power and relationships in my book, Regain Your Power. The link is in the description in Amazon, okay? Because how you're able to handle a situation where you're in a relationship with somebody is very important. See, a lot of people don't know how to put up boundaries. And when they don't know how to put up boundaries, they find themselves very unhappy because their partner is doing whatever they want. Let's say their partner goes out and stays out all night and you're still there. You're still there because you haven't put that boundary in effect and let that person know, that is not acceptable. And if it happens again, I won't be here. See, this is very hard for a lot of people to do, okay? Even if you're married, I don't care. Even if you're married, anybody that tells you they're in a perfect marriage, Okay? Don't believe things you hear. And you'll see it on the news. You'll see it with celebrities where you think these people have these perfect marriages and then you find out that they're getting a divorce. Okay? People will always paint a picture to try to portray something. You are not living with these people. You are not in their homes. You don't know what goes on in their homes. And believe me, you would be surprised at some of the things that go on in people's home in relationships. So just because you end up, in a long-term relationship or you end up married with somebody doesn't mean that when you're in that relationship, you open up completely to your vulnerabilities in letting that person, you're pretty much letting that person know everything in which they can attack you. It's like, for instance, the United States is not going to show their warring, competitors what is their vulnerabilities. Okay? Because you leave yourself open for attack. And even though you love that person, you could love that person and be in a relationship with them and you just want to divulge everything, okay? Because you feel so close. There's nothing wrong with feeling completely close to someone and opening up to that person. But the problem is, if you let that person know what makes you tick, what makes you vulnerable, when you have a situation where you have an argument with that person, a lot of times they will use that against you, okay? Maybe you're arguing about family. Maybe you're arguing about money. Maybe you're arguing about children. They will take whatever you say in a lot of cases and use it against you. Okay? Let's say you're a very emotional person and everything like that, and you're always crying about something that's going on with your child or something like that. That person can use that against you and say something like, well, you see, you're not a strong enough parent. You don't know how to keep it together or something like that. So that's what I mean. You can be authentic with somebody. You can show somebody that, you are an open person. You're not a fake person. You could show somebody that you care about them once you're in that relationship and everything like that. But to open up completely and show every single vulnerability is kind of like leaving yourself open for attack. And people will argue this. People argue this all the time. And they'll say, well, you can't completely love someone unless you make yourself completely vulnerable. Okay? Yes, you can love someone without making yourself completely vulnerable. Okay? You can show them different things about yourself, things that upset you or cross your boundaries. But when you get into being a complete open book, that's when people, sometimes it's human nature, sometimes people, yes, they might appreciate the fact that you're being open with them. They may feel that closeness of you, divulging certain details when you open up to them. Yes, it's good to build a closeness. But to be completely and utterly open can leave yourself open for attack. And even as far as, when you're in a marriage, okay? Because I've seen it happen. I've seen partners completely become vulnerable to their husband or their wife, and these people have used it against them, or these people have taken away their power because of it. So I don't agree with some of the experts about things about vulnerability, that you have to be completely vulnerable in order to love. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I've been married. I know what it is. I've seen how people argue. I've seen how people have resolved things. And that's not necessarily true. Okay? So I just wanted to touch upon this because it is such a big issue talking about, being vulnerable. What it really is about being yourself. And even in dating, when you're dating somebody, everybody not everybody, but a large percentage of people are always trying to sell themselves and portray they're this great person. I always say you have to be yourself. And I've done a podcast on this. You have to be yourself, because if you're not yourself, it's going to come out in time. So you need to be who you are, because that person will eventually see who you are. So isn't it better for somebody to see who you are and then realize whether they're in it or they're not in it, than to try to fool them and date them and put on this, nice image and always agree with them. And then what? A year down the line or whatever it is, they start to see things. You start to realize, you can't put up the act anymore. You can't keep doing this. You can't keep agreeing with them because the certain things they do just irritate you. So, this is what I mean. It's not about being vulnerable. It's about being authentic. It's about being yourself and having your own self-worth and believing in who you are. If you know that you do everything that you can do to be the best authentic person that you are, okay? You have to take an attitude like, this is who I am. You either like me or you don't. And if you don't, there will be somebody else that does, okay? You hold yourself with that position because you know that you have done everything that you could possibly do right to be a good person and done the best things that you could do for yourself. You take care of yourself physically. You work hard in your career. You try to help people. You have a kind heart. You try to do the right thing with somebody. The person that you're dating, you try to do the same thing. You try to be respectful to that person. And if that person can't reciprocate with the same amount of respect as you, then they are not for you. Point blank, okay? And you have to accept that and stop trying to change people. This is what so many people do. They take somebody that is a hot mess and they think that they can manipulate them and do things that will change them and mold them into what they want. No, what you see is what you get. Their basic character is their basic character. And that's why I tell you guys, you got to know how to study people. You have to know how to analyze people and decide what kind of person you're dealing with. All right? Very important in life. And it's not just about in relationships. It could be in business. It could be in family relationships. It could be in friends. Know who you're dealing with. Study these people. Study their actions. Study their past. Study, where they want to be in life. Okay? This is how you know you're able to evaluate who these type of people are and who is good for you and who isn't good for you, okay? But getting back to the topic at hand, the topic was talking about, do you need to be completely vulnerable in order for somebody to love you? And my answer is no. Okay? And like I said, a lot of people will disagree with me. Some experts may disagree with me, but I'm going off real life experience, not textbook experience, not textbook. I'm going off real life experience. And I will tell you that, it's not about vulnerabilities. It's about being your authentic self and about having your boundaries and having your self-worth and having your standards, okay? It's not about being with somebody and telling them every little vulnerable thing about yourself and have that, preconceived notion that, if I open up about everything, that will bring me closer to this person. No, okay? No, it will bring you closer to that person, yes, for a minute or for a little while. But when you have a disagreement with that person, that person could use that against you, okay? Or they could use it in how they argue with you. For example, if they see that makes you tick every time there's the silent treatment, they will keep doing it and doing it and doing it. So you don't want to show somebody that you're vulnerable, for example, to the silent treatment or something like that, because you're showing your hand. And when people argue, you guys, sometimes it could get ugly. Just go to divorce court and you will see how ugly things can get. All right? So this is what I'm telling you, okay? There's a difference. It's not about being completely vulnerable. It's about being yourself, okay? You could open up. You could tell them certain things about yourself, but to tell them every little thing of, this is how you can hurt me, if we have a disagreement or something. No, I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it like it is. I don't agree with that because I've seen people use it against them, okay? So I just wanted to bring this up because so many people get confused with relationships and everything like that. We sit here, we analyze, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I say this? Should I not say that? Okay? Be yourself. Bottom line, be yourself. Love yourself. Love who you are. The reason that people don't love who they are or they have low self-esteem is because they feel deep down within themselves they haven't done everything that they should do to make themselves the best person that they can be. If you make yourself and you have that peace of mind that you have done everything that you could possibly do to make yourself the best person that you could be, okay? And you have that peace of mind. You will have that self-confidence going into dating or in a relationship, and you will say, you know what? Number one, nobody's perfect, all right? Nobody has a perfect relationship. I don't care who it is, okay? When you've lived life, you know that for a fact. And number two, they have to be able to accept you for who you are, okay? You don't want somebody that's not going to accept you for who you are. You don't want to have to be somebody that always has to be made up on a date. You have to have the hair done, the makeup done. I'm not saying not to put your best foot forward in the beginning and get to know somebody. But relationships, as you go down in relationships, you guys, if you're in a long-term relationship or you're married to somebody, that's where you have to realize that they have to love the inner you. Because you could be married to someone and God forbid, one of you could get sick, all right? And nobody looks good when they get sick. Could this person still love you? Could this person still be there for you? You see what I'm saying? There's people that have been in relationships where one partner has gotten very, very sick and the other person leaves them, okay? So you want to know that person loves you, for your core inner person, all right? Not just your outside. But getting back to the vulnerabilities, all right? Just go in, be yourself. In the beginning, don't divulge too much information about somebody. They've got to earn it to learn more and more about you. They have to earn your trust. The more they've earned your trust, the more you can open up to them, okay? But do I recommend letting everybody know every single vulnerability about yourself? No, absolutely not, okay? Unless, you want to be a target down the road, okay? So I hope that helps you guys. If it did, please hit the subscribe button and share, and have a great day. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz. I want to tell you about my 2 books that are on Amazon, okay? You can download them free with the trial membership from Kindle. The first book is Regain Your Power. If you're in a relationship and you feel like your partner has all the control in the relationship, maybe you're walking around on eggshells, you're afraid to approach them, it's going to tell you how to regain your power and be happy in the relationship, okay? And what you may be doing wrong, and that's why your partner has all the control in the relationship. The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time. There's a lot of people that are dating someone or in a relationship with somebody who's not really vested in the relationship. And we often are confused as to whether our partner really likes us or is into us or wants a future with us. And this book is going to give you signs and red flags of whether your partner is into you or he's just basically drifting and wasting your time. So go to Amazon and download the Kindle free trial membership. Doesn't cost you anything. And check it out. It may help you. Okay? And have a great day.